USML podcast, Playing the Fuel, Fuel Zone 007. Today I'm co-hosted by Dirty Dan. What's up, Dan?
Hey, what's going on, man? Glad to be on the show.
Yeah, it's good to have you on the show. First time I've had a chance really to talk to you outside of maybe a post-game interview. Let's talk about your season so far. How are things going with the Denver Broncos?
We're doing good. We kind of had a rebuilding year last year, added some young pieces, young quarterback, young defensive line. Those guys are still progressing. Added a young running back this year, young safety, a few young pieces. But, I mean, we are who we are. We got a lot of weapons on the outside. We've got Chubb, and we got good secondary. So we're just chugging along 5-0 and playing Raider fans sometime tonight.
Who's the biggest threat to you right now on your schedule? Like, what game out there are you get a little concerned about?
I got Prime in 2 weeks, so that's the one I haven't gotten over that hurdle yet, really, this cycle. So it was a good game in the AFC Championship game. I think we both probably felt like we both should have won. He obviously did in overtime, but I'd like to knock him out. And then I got some NFC East guys. I got Cowboy, Grams, who always gives me a little trouble. I got QP. I got Bomber on the schedule. So I got some tough ones coming up. I think I have 10 games this season of playoff teams from last year. So not an easy one, but doing well so far.
Why do you struggle so much against Prime? Do you just overthink the game, or what is it? Because you know that the plays are coming, and you seem to have the right formula. You play a good, tough defense, and then you're good at running the ball. Why are you unable to get over that hump?
Well, the first 2 times I played them this year, I was kind of testing them out a little bit, trying to see. I just haven't played them very much. We've only played, I think, 5 times total in SML. So first 2 times I was trying to test him out, see what he's good at, see where he's, gives me some trouble. And in both those games, I got down early and I just had to fight back. In the championship game, we just kind of went punch for punch. In fact, he wasn't leading at all until the final score. So it was just a good back and forth game. I think, I went back, I watched it a little bit. I think I picked up some tips on some stuff I can do differently. He's just, he when he plays smart, he plays focused. He's a tough out, and he's got a good team. Last year he had I think a better team than he had this year. So I think this is my year to get over that hump.
All right, so let me ask you, I got a couple bullet points I want to hit throughout this, and this one is probably going to upset some people. Do you think trash talk has gone too far?
No. I'm a good believer in trash talking. I guess I'll put this one exception: as long as the other person knows it's all in good fun. So the minute you cross that line where someone gets offended or someone feels like it's crossed the line, that you really need to back off and you need to stop. But if the other person realizes, hey, we're in a competition, we're playing a video game, we're having a good time, then I think the back and forth should be going on. I think that adds to the excitement. I'll give it to Paulie every single day because he hasn't beaten me yet. I think I'm 10-0 against him. So, and I know Paulie can handle that. I know Paulie's a good guy in that sense. But there's other guys where you got to be careful with that. And so that's the only thing. Like, I saw Meats and Dump get at it, and you just got to know when one person's ticked off because they lost or rubbing it in, you just got to stop. Like that's where you got to let kind of cooler heads prevail. You got to give it some time and then come back later. And, because Dumps run his mouth against Meats and Meats run his mouth against Dumps. So they both are equal in it, but it was just the wrong timing. And that's what you got to know. All right, I got to back away right now.
So your thing is know your audience, and I mean, I personally don't have an issue with it. I don't, talk trash because I can't. I don't win any games, but I guess the issue that I have is in today's day and age, everybody's just overly sensitive, and you almost can't make little comments just because people aren't grown men enough. Like Meats, like the tweet that Dump made, in my opinion, wasn't that bad. Meats says it was a personal attack. It was, some personal information was derived from it when he said he wants that package delivered on time or whatever the tweet was exactly. It wasn't like he made a racial or discriminatory slur or anything to that nature. It was a well-timed jab on his part, and Meats, didn't reciprocate it very well. And like you said, he just didn't take it well. The emotions were high, and then, he tried to throw some admin clout around, and I think that the the heads just got a little bit too hot that night and things went a little too far. My issue, though, it becomes more and more of an accepted part of the culture, so you can't really talk to guys that unless they really cross the line. Like, you can't really get on anyone's tail about crossing those boundaries because it starts from the commissioner on down. The trash talk is just an accepted part of the culture here now, and
Yeah.
you got guys like Coop, NYT, and I forget who else out of their group that's known each other a long time. They've been playing each other a long time. And NYT threw around, a slur that a lot of people use just here and there, whether or not it's appropriate or not. And,
Right.
DW took offense to it and DW left. And I think that when you allow the trash talk just to go, sometimes you're going to rub certain people the wrong way, especially guys that haven't been in here that long. And I would just hate to see guys leave. And that's why when I was a major part of the admin team here, I would, that was our rule. There's no trash talk, and I would stop a lot of the BS just because people are not grown men in today's society.
Yeah, I think you're always going to run that danger. Like you said, if you let it go a little bit, it turns into a mountain or an avalanche. And, that's where, again, if you're in the midst of a trash talking back and forth, you gotta just either walk away or turn off your phone. You can't all of a sudden start pulling out the rules or start trying to get someone in trouble. Like, you just gotta be like, all right, look, this thing got heated. I need to walk away. I need to take a timeout. I need we all should be able to turn our phones off. We should be able to handle that. But there are certain words we got to be careful of. We got a lot of different people with different backgrounds, different any politics, race, religion, any of that kind of stuff. We got to be really careful with that. And so there's a good time where, we all got to just stop and back off. But I would hate to get to a spot where, we're not rubbing each other a little bit. We're not busting some balls a little bit on just the fact that it's a game, it's competitive.
Sure.
We should have a good time. We should be able to do that. But, I think you and I having this discussion, I think the league here in this discussion, I think it's good. I think we should just dialogue and talk, and I think that's healthy.
Well, I felt like it was something that needed to be addressed, and I think that sometimes you kind of have to play mediator and understand that I understand both sides of it, and I just kind of felt like it was something that needed to be addressed, and like it's okay to do it, but like you said, know the audience, know your boundaries, and time. The timing is a big part of throwing the jab, and if you can't, you just can't do it. I'm going to move on past this topic, and I want to talk about my surprise team right now. I called him, or I didn't. Stephen A. called him the dark horse, and it's NYT. What do you think about NYT right now? I had it up. He's 7-0 right now. Did you know that? And what do you think about NYT?
NYT is he's gotten a lot better over the last 2-3 years, learning to play a little bit more conservative, a little bit smarter. This season, though, it's been interesting because the Ravens are one of the teams right out of the get that should have been dominant.
Right.
And he struggled with the NFC or the AFC North, but it appears something clicked in him where I think he's playing to the strengths of his team. I think he's not trying to overdo it. He's not trying to push Lamar too far. And that helps. Now, on the other side, he hasn't really played a really strong schedule. I know KJ's having a great year, and that should be celebrated. We're all on Team KJ. But overall, he just hasn't had back to NYT. He hasn't had a really tough game. I think the only other team would be Poly, and that was a 2-point game. And depending on how you can catch Poly, that I can see that go there. So I'm curious to see how the rest. He's got the Jaguars in 2 weeks. We'll see how he does against Bomber.
Yeah.
To me, that'll probably be the game to decide whether or not NYT is a force or he's just going to be another playoff team, kind of one and done.
Well, I think he's got the playoffs locked up when you start. He's got a 7-0 start.
True.
So, and he won, the Poly game, which is a big one for him. And he also played pretty tough against Matt, 33-27. He's got he just beat Mike FML 34-10. He's got Figs, who's 0-6 and not playing too hot. Like you said, Bomber, terrible two-step, not playing too hot, 0-6. Woods, who's not been I don't think he's been that good over the last 2 or 3 cycles. He's definitely a good player, but he's just not a consistent player.
Right.
Future, same thing can be said about him.
Yep.
Noel, who's having a better season than he has, he's 3-3 right now, but Noel has not been what he was last cycle. I
Right.
was really blown away by him last cycle. This cycle, he just hasn't been able to do it. Once again, he's got Woods, and then he's got the Foz. He's got to play Week 16, and then he's got the Bengals again. So he's got a real preferable schedule going on, and I think he's going to make the playoffs. And like you said, it just depends on what that matchup is. If he gets prime or whatever, this is going to be who he's going to match up against. He could get dusted by people like you, or
Yeah.
so it would just be interesting. But good for him for being 7-0.
Oh yeah, for sure. And if he can, with Paulie having a little bit of a down year so far right now, if he could sneak into that 2 or 3 seed, then he might have a very favorable matchup first round, and he could. Like again, I'm not a big fan of having to play against Lamar. Like,
Right.
he's just one of those guys that can take over a game. And so, I wouldn't want to have to mess with NYT in the playoffs. Last cycle he beat me, and he's just one of those games you got to be careful of. So, I don't think he's a bad player, but it's going to be curious to see if he can jump over that, that big 4 hurdle right now. Me, Prime, Bomber, and Paulie. That's kind of been the top 4 in the AFC. It'll be interesting to see if he can, in the playoffs, make a push beyond one of those 4.
So we're going to use one of Prime's favorite segue or transition words. Switching gears now, and we're going to talk about do you know who the SML leading receiver is right now?
Oh,
It's an interesting one.
Is it? It's not. Is it Dumps? I saw Dumps guy just had a massive game from.
He's got that. That was another thing I was going to talk about. Let me throw that up on the screen. Did you notice that he's got that old man picture that Daddy List threw up on it? What's up with that?
I did see that. Yeah, Dad at least done that before. They put NFL owners on sometimes as players.
Yeah.
And I have no idea why they do that, but yes, I saw that. I don't know who the overall leading receiver is now.
It's Marquise Brown, the big trade that was made between the Ravens and the Bears.
Okay.
Figs. So Figs, like Prime's offense has been through JT. It looks like Figs is living and dying by Marquise Brown. He's having a pretty good season. 38 catches, 786 yards, and 6 tutties. And then the next was Dump, who just, like you said, he had, I don't even remember how many yards. I mean, he had just a stupid game, 200 yards and 5 touchdowns or something like that. So he managed to get himself back in the ranks there. But what do you think about NYT kind of ditched him off? He goes to Figs, and Figs is makes some noise with him.
Right, and Hollywood Brown, he's one of those guys along with Hill, Tyreek Hill, and also Ruggs, from the Raiders. Like those guys should be dominating, and that was a kind of a mystery that I don't think NYT could fully figure out. So again, he got a nice D tackle. I think that D tackle is going to be pretty good.
Sure.
And that might help him. And maybe, I've done it before sometimes too. Like sometimes when you have a player like a Hollywood, you try too hard to get him involved and it messes up your whole system. So, hey, maybe for NYT, that was a good thing to get rid of him. So he could play a little different style. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's one of those maybe win-win trades for both guys.
So while I got you on here, the last topic I want to touch base on, you're obviously a perennial playoff team. You're right there. You've been in the Super Bowl. I think you won one, right?
Yeah, just one.
Okay, so you're pretty good, obviously. What would be your advice to guys that are struggling? Me, 1-4, the Saints 1-4, the Bears 0-6. I mean, you can just go through the list, and there's a lot of guys that are just not doing hot. How can we turn it around?
Well, first of all, I want to let you know I'm up 7-0 on Raider fan. I'm playing my game.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, we're good, man. No, I just threw a nice long touchdown pass.
Turn that on.
No, what I would tell anybody really is kind of pick your style and just work your style. So if you want to be a running team, be a running team. If you want to be a passing team, be a passing team. Don't try to figure it all out. Don't try to be a master in every area of Madden, but try to figure out, okay, I want to stop the run and I want to run the ball. Okay, how do I do that? I want to stop the pass. I want to pass the ball. How do I do that? So just go there, and then as you get those things down, just add one more thing, add one more thing, add one more thing. So that's really what I do, and every year is, okay, I start out with usually what worked last Madden, and
Right.
I start
Kind
there,
of evolve it.
and then I start adding things, and like I'm on I think my 15th playbook that I've built this Madden.
Really?
And it's just adding stuff every time. So I just want to keep adding things, and that's what I do. I sit in practice. I just go over plays over and over again. It's for me, like I tell everyone, my wife works 3 to 11.
Mm-hmm.
I sit around. I don't really watch too much TV at night, and I just sit and fool around and play Madden. So to me, it's my little hobby. It's my little thing, and I just get in practice mode, and I just keep practicing and keep working on stuff. So, again, never, you others, I know people aren't going to spend that much time playing Madden.
Right.
It's more, more of a casual thing. But what I would tell you is just start somewhere. Like, hey, you want to run an RPO offense, run an RPO offense. You want to run, tight end, running back offense, run that. You want to throw deep, like learn how to do that, and then just keep adding other stuff as you go on.
Well, hey, I appreciate the advice, but your time. I'll let you go ahead and keep Dustin, Raider fan here. Looks like you're playing some defense. My goal is to keep this right around 15 minutes. We're at 16, so I think now is a good time to cut it off. But I hope everyone enjoys it. The conversation we had. It's great having you on, Dan. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check us out, SidMaddenLeague.com, DaddyLeagues.com/SML. Like, subscribe, take care. Have a great day.